Easy now.
Easy now. Are we actually live?
We are live at the Goodwood Festival of Speed 2024.
On the wonderful BMW stand.
I know. Guys, welcome to the Drive Talk podcast. When we set out to do this podcast last year, we always wanted to get really cool backdrops, really cool venues, and really cool guests. Well, I'm not going to kind of give any spoilers here, but we smashed it on this one.
Yeah. It's just awesome, isn't it?
Oh, wow. Now, big thank you to BMW for hosting us today. We're going to have a mix of stuff we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about the M5 that's parked in front of us because, Joe, you drove that just a couple of weeks ago, and it is a car that has plenty of stuff to talk about, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But we've also got some really special guests. We also wanted to just have a chat generally about the Festival of Speed, the cool things we're going to be up to this week. But I just want to get our first guest on.
Why not?
Now, I first met this gentleman, we were working out back in 2019. Aston Martin Cambridge did a special edition Red Arrows Vanquish S. They made 9 of them, and then they made an extra one, Red 10, and Red 10 was raffled off for charity in aid of the RAF Benevolent Fund. And it just so happened that one of my followers won the car. And I got this amazing email from Humphrey saying, I've just won Red 10. Do you want to come and collect it? And I went, what, you've won it? He said, yeah. I said, well, I bought a ticket too. He went, I bought 5 tickets. So that's probably why he's a better chance of winning it.
Absolutely, sounds fair enough.
And I went up to Aston Martin Cambridge, and at the handover met our guest, Adam Collins, who at the time was Red 10, but is now Officer Commanding of the Red Arrows. Adam, welcome to the Drive Talk podcast. Round of applause, by the way, everyone. Just get your cans on. We've been trying to get you on the podcast. Not only is this gentleman dressed in the coolest jumpsuit, has turned up with the coolest bag and the coolest watch, and perhaps has the coolest job, but you're also a massive petrol head.
I am, yeah. Several of us on the team are. So for us, Goodwood is the ultimate combination. We get to display here, meet the public, and see some amazing cars. So, yeah, I'm in heaven here, to be honest.
Wow. So you've already displayed today.
We have.
So when people come to the Festival of Speed, I remember when I met you, I was very lucky. I got to stand on top of Goodwood House while you were commentating on the display with live comms to Red 1. That was quite special. But I learned a lot that day about the display. So do you want to just explain, when you are displaying over Goodwood, you stay reasonably nearby. Just give us a bit of the logistics.
So the challenging thing about Goodwood, clearly it's not an air show. It's an event focused elsewhere on the cars and the bikes. So to put on an air display at a show that isn't focused on it has its challenges. So this to us is what's called a greenfield site. So we haven't got a nice linear runway to display to with a nice straight crowd line, which is why we display a little bit further away, because under the regulations we have to be a certain minimum distance from the crowd. So unfortunately not everybody gets the best view of Goodwood, but it is an iconic place for us to display at. It's a real fixture on our calendar we look forward to, much like the Grand Prix. So being here, being able to display for the public, and then the whole team is actually on the ground at Goodwood today doing PR and engaging with the public, talking about cars and the similarities. So Goodwood, certainly for me and the rest of the team, is a real highlight of the year.
And you fly over from Bournemouth, is that right?
We do. So the aircraft are based at Bournemouth. It's a fairly short transit into here. The display, about 25 minutes long, quick transit back to Bournemouth again. And then the team is supported by military helicopters, military training helicopters. So my former role is Red 10. That helicopter is there to move Red 10 from the site we're operating the aircraft to the display site. Today we have the luxury of 3 of those, which means we can bring the whole team onto site to meet the public and do some signing and chat cars.
Very cool. So if guys see people walking around in coloured jumpsuits, you've got the red jumpsuits and the blue ones. What's the difference?
We have. So as the officer commanding of the Red Arrows, I'm essentially the squadron boss, and we're actually just shy of 150 people, which not many people realise.
Wow.
So much like an F1 team, for example, you associate the team with the cars on the track, or you associate the Red Arrows with the 9 aircraft that are flying in the display. So there's 11 of us that wear the red suits as the pilots, and then we have over 130 support team who wear the blue suits. So that's everything from engineers through to logistics, administration, and everything in between. And much like any of the F1 teams, you wouldn't see the aircraft displaying if we didn't have that big support network underneath it.
Wow. It's great to see 9 ship back up in the air this year.
Yeah, especially iconic this year because it's our Diamond anniversary. It's our 60th display season. So flying with the Diamond 9 again. Those of you who saw it, Diamond Arrival is in the show this year. Some manoeuvres people haven't seen for a while, some manoeuvres that are the crowd favourites and are back in there. But there's one in particular to start the second half that we haven't done for 20 years, which is fairly simple. It's coming through in diamond and then splitting into the 4 and 5, crossing over, and then starting the second half. So we're really pleased with the display this year. It's nice and tight, lots of variety in it, and having that red, white and blue in the diamond is really great to see.
I love how you say it's nice and simple. Yeah, it sounds really easy.
I know. So if you wanted to be a Red Arrow, what's the, how do you apply to be a Red Arrow?
So quite a lot of people think that we're ex-Air Force or it's a civilian team, but we're actually all serving military personnel. We have some reservists and some civilian contractors amongst the support team, but all of the pilots have served on the front line in fighter aircraft. So personally, I flew Tornadoes, did an exchange tour on the F-111 with the Australians, but we've got a mix of backgrounds, Typhoon, Harrier and so on. And the Red Arrows is like any other squadron in the RAF, it's just our output is what we call soft power. So during the domestic season, it's displaying for the public, promoting the RAF and the military. But then when we go overseas, we are we are global ambassadors for the government, and we're flying that red, white and blue Union flag literally in the sky wherever we go.
It's amazing. Lou is I love the Red Arrows, but my other half, Lou, I was away in France last weekend at when the Silverstone was on, and we live a stone's throw. In fact, as close as you do to Goodwood, I live to Silverstone. And she was like, right, don't ring me or contact me between these hours, because she was out in the garden trying to get the best angle. And
Silverstone's quite a challenge for us. Much like Goodwood, it's a greenfield site, so there's no linear display line.
Yeah.
But then we have the added complication of after the display, we then hold off, and then there's a timed fly past for the national anthem. So it's a balance between the TV production and everything working well, the timing of the national anthem, and actually us having enough fuel to hang around to do that fly past. Wow. So quite the pressure for Red One leading that, but it worked out really well this year. I think there were a few seconds timing error in the start of the anthem, but actually it worked out really nicely coming over the pit lane, so great to see.
So we obviously like our cars, and so do you. Now, we've been exchanging messages on X to start with, formerly known as Twitter, now WhatsApp. So you're building a pretty cool little car at the moment.
I am. So I've had a bit of a history with cars. I've always liked cars. I've had a couple of TVR Griffith 500s, Nissan 350Z, that kind of thing, Honda S2000, but I'm actually building an MK Indy. Yeah. So it's much like a Caterham, but this one, it's Mazda MX-5 based for the engine, gearbox, transmission, naturally aspirated to begin with, but I'm building it turbo ready. So see how it handles with the standard horsepower, and then possibly upgrade it once it's built.
Is it going to be red?
It is going to be red.
Is it going to be the red?
No, it's I've gone for red, black and carbon. So if it's not red, black or carbon, it's not going on.
Oh, okay. That's okay then.
Is it going to be on Ped's channel?
Well,
very soon.
Hopefully.
The offer's there. I don't know about quite soon. It's the job's pretty busy, so the build has taken a bit of a back seat at the moment. But my aim is within the next 12 months to have it on the road, if not in the fully finished form.
And are any of the other guys on the team into cars? What kind of cars have they got?
So daily drivers, most people are pretty boring, to be honest. I mean, my daily driver is a Mighty Fiesta.
Well, when your work car is a Hawk,
there is that.
It's like, where do you go from there, right?
But one of the guys in particular, Red 2, Chris McCann, he's had various Japanese cars in the past, so GTRs, that kind of thing. And then we've got one of the pilots, Rich Walker, who used to do a lot of track stuff on bikes. So yeah, there's a mixture in there, but we have to take it pretty easy when we're on the team, because if you injure yourself, then it's very obvious if there's a pilot missing. So you have to take it a bit steady.
There's a plane short.
Absolutely.
Does Red 10, would they be able to sit in and fill a gap? Or I guess you have to train so specifically for a particular flight number.
Yeah, unlike some teams, we don't have any reserve pilots for the displays. So if we have a pilot ill for a fly past, then either Red 10 or me can step in. So for example, we did that a couple of years ago for the Euros finals, where we had a pilot with COVID, so I stepped in and flew in the 9 slot for that. But for the display, we have what we call a loser plot, which is a whole matrix that everyone memorizes. So if we start the day and there's an aircraft that's unserviceable, we only have 8, then we brief that. But it could be anything up until 30 seconds before the start of the show. If an aircraft has a bird strike, for example, it's not too serious, but it has to turn back to the base, then we can click into the loser plot for that show instantly. That will be some aircraft changing position just so it looks a bit more symmetrical for the crowd, and some aircraft smoking a different colour from standard to again make it look more symmetrical. but it's key to safety and so on. Everyone has that memorized and locked away. So when we action it, we're straight into it without people having to try and recall what goes on.
Yeah. I think one of the things that amazes me, bear in mind we're in a car show and there's lots of new cars around, and there's some classic cars around, okay? And we might think of a classic car as anything, I don't know, 20, 30 years old. The Hawk is 50 years old this year, am I right?
It is, and we're flying the original, the T Mark 1. So the Hawk that's used in flying training now is a newer version with a glass cockpit, and that's a much better stepping stone onto F-35 or Typhoon, whereas our Hawk is the original one with the analog cockpit. So if you look into the cockpit of our Hawk, if you've ever flown a Cessna or anything like that at the flying club, that's probably more complicated than our Hawk. We have a GPS on the coaming that's a bit like an original Game Boy, so just green and black. On transits, we have the luxury of an iPad with some software on there. But the great thing about it being so simple, although it's hard work navigating around airspace and so on, it means our engineers can turn the aircraft quickly. So we fly on our transits with specially trained engineers in the back seat. They then service the aircraft, and then we fly the display solo. But the way the aircraft is, if you compare it to a Typhoon, it's a different league, the Typhoon. But I would compare our Hawk to a Caterham or a Lotus Elise, something like that.
Right.
Whereas the frontline aircraft are more your supercars. So arguably you can go quicker and faster around a track in the supercar, but you're probably going to have more fun in the Elise or the Caterham.
Yeah. So cool, isn't it?
It's like a Gordon Murray.
Yeah. Exactly.
That sort of, wow, that sounds amazing.
I think when I was watching the display last week at Silverstone, you focused on the main fly past. But I always like to look around and see the other aircraft that are kind of positioning and flying around. And that for me looks like the difficult bit, because it looks really easy to get lost and to like.
The trick with that is the timing. So the first half, all the aircraft are together. It's the big looping and rolling maneuvers as a 9-ship. And then the second half is when we split into those two sections and the synchro pair. And the coordination between those two sections, so one being led by Red 1 and the rear section being led by Red 6, that timing is dependent on wind and a number of other factors. And there's no tricks in the cockpit. There's a very basic GPS, but nothing helping them out. It's all done on the stopwatch, counting bananas in your head, all that kind of thing, and allowing for that wind. And what we're aiming to do is that when the smoke turns off on one set of maneuvers from one section, the other section is coming in from the other side. So there's always something going on. And the stuff that you might see at Silverstone, because it's not that linear layout that I talked about, you will see some of the repositioning going on. Whereas at somewhere like Riyadh, where you've got a nice straight display line, that will all be happening a couple of miles behind the crowd, and you won't really know it's going on.
So cool.
Wow. I had no idea about any of that. I mean, what an insight, how manual it is, in a sense. Yeah, you're not relying on any technology as such. It's just all...
Yeah, and what that means is the way we practice the display, it's something that we can pick up and pretty much put anywhere. So we don't practice at any display site unless that show, for example, an overseas show might mandate that we have to do a practice display. Other teams do that every single time, whereas because we move around the country so quickly and to so many different shows, we will display somewhere cold, having not seen that site before, but we've researched it on Google Earth. We've essentially transposing the standard pattern we do into a new area, which means, for example, my last season as Red 10, we did 7 displays in 6 different locations in a 4-day period, which very few teams around the world can be that flexible and move around so quickly.
Wow.
Last question before we let you get on to walking around the park looking like the coolest dude here. Is what's the banter like between yourselves and the Patrouille de France and the Blue Angels and the other teams? Because obviously you're the best in the world, obviously.
I can't say that.
Well, I can.
So it's there's a lot of mutual respect between the teams, and ultimately the teams capitalise on the characteristics and the performance of your aircraft. So the Blue Angels, the Thunderbirds, they're flying much bigger, heavier frontline fighter aircraft, so they've got that raw power, that raw noise. They can fly extremely close together, but the aircraft aren't as nimble as ours. Whereas we are more like the French team in that the aircraft are smaller, lighter, potentially affected by the turbulence a bit more, but we can be a lot more nimble. We change formation in front of the crowd and we keep the whole thing in front of the crowd, which with those bigger, faster aircraft, they tend to stretch it out a bit. And of course, we don't use music either. We just have Red 10 commentating and focus on the fact that there's always something going on, whereas other teams tend to put music in there and have it more as a production and a show, if you like, rather than a formation aerobatic display.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Mate, I could talk airplane. My father was a fighter pilot. He was a Hurricane pilot during the war. I love planes. I love the RAF. I love the Red Arrows. I've been brought up on them like I'm sure many people. So it's a real honour to get to spend time with you and have a chat. And let's do a film on your MK when it's
Absolutely.
when it's ready.
That'll be that'll be the goal for me to get it finished in time.
Exactly right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Collins, OC of the Red Arrows. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Adam. Cheers.
This was interesting.
Wow. Well, guests don't get much better than that, do they?
No, not
Well,
at
no,
all.
actually, we shouldn't, because we've got an amazing guest very shortly.
We have.
But we are on the BMW stand,
Yep.
and I can see just behind the camera the new M5. Shall we have a chat?
Yeah, so
It looks proper.
it does look proper. There's a couple here, actually. There's that one, and there's a speed yellow one right at the top of the structure behind us, essentially, which looks completely different. Surprise, surprise. But they unveiled the G90 M5 today, or this morning, with a massive crowd. I mean, it was heaving. I tried to film a video, but I think it was pretty lame. But as a car, it's incredible. I mean, there's a lot of talking on the internet about the fact that it's heavy. It's a lot heavier than the F90 that replaces. And I think we've talked about it on the podcast before. You know, there's people talking about cars getting too heavy, too big, too this.
Like you.
A bit like me, yes. Especially after 10 days on the road, I feel like I'm very heavy. But the thing is, all these manufacturers have to tick a lot of boxes these days. And as we've seen by like the C63 becoming a 4-pot hybrid that weighs a lot and lost the V8. So that's lost its main ingredient for someone who wants a C63. And I think BMW have managed to keep the V8 in there, which I think for an M5 customer is really important. And they've made it friendly enough to be on sale in 2024 by turning it into a plug-in hybrid. I think they call it an M hybrid. And when I went to drive it in Austria 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was told right at the last minute, because as you know, with these embargoed cars, especially something like the new M5, you don't get any information until the last minute, just about before you go out and drive it on a circuit that you don't normally know, and in weather that was mixed, and you're told you're going to get 5 laps, and then you've got the lead car talking to you on the radio, and so you got all this stuff going on, and then you find out, it's 2.42 tons, I think 2,420 or something, which is a lot of weight. So you take off expecting it to feel heavy, and what I'm getting at is a lot of people today have asked me, I've seen the video, but what's it really like? What did it drive like? Now, if I didn't know that stat that it was 2.4 tons, I would have come back in and said, it's an amazing car. I reckon it weighs about 2 tons. And I know that's not a massive difference, but all cars are about 2 tons today. So its capabilities on track are amazing. So I'm sure as a road car, it's going to be incredible. And let's face it, most people buying an M5, how often do you see an M5 on track? Maybe once in a blue moon.
And it's not there for long because the tyres won't last that long, and
Well, exactly.
fuel tank will empty. And
Exactly, and that's the case with the previous generation as well. They're not designed as track cars, so the fact that BMW launched it for the early press on track was a brave move, and it's really impressive. So, and I think also the other headline figure with it for me is we know that new cars are getting more and more expensive. There's no hiding that, inflation. I'd estimated that it was going to be about 130 grand in the UK.
Well, we played a game because you asked me to guess, and I guessed 140.
You guessed 140, yeah?
'Cause you'd had the i5 M60.
Yes, with a few options.
And that was 120,
120, yes.
120, 125 or something.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even an M5.
No, and you think that's got that V8 in it. It's got all the hybrid running gear. And
Go on
to
then.
launch it, 110,000 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, 110, 500, with lots of... I know I probably sound a bit like a BMW salesman here, and I'm not, unfortunately. But
Well, you are. I
just
show
don't
a
get
hand
any
says who
commission.
bought a BMW because of Joe Achilles. Maybe.
no hands, yeah. But yeah, I think it's an awesome car. I'm looking forward to driving it on the road and trying it out properly. But it's great to see that you could still get something with a big thumping combustion engine in it in today's world. Let's see where the future goes with them cars, because I think eventually they're going to have to fully electrify them, as are all the other brands, and I think that's going to be very tricky for them, because the M customer likes a combustion engine. So
Well, that I'm going to use that as a mega segue into a car I drove a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Because it's a car from a manufacturer whose buyers like an engine in them, the Alfie,
yes,
Alfa Romeo. and I drove the new Junior. Well, Milano. No, Junior.
Rubbish name, I have to say. It's the name.
Well, the name originally was a really good name.
What is
the
it in
Milano.
Italian?
Milano.
Oh, okay. Oh, Milan. Oh, yeah. And then
They couldn't call it Milano because
Yeah.
the Italian government had a sad on because it's made in Poland.
Oh, okay.
So they had to rename it. So they went, so they will call it Junior then.
Okay.
But anyway, put that to one side. I drove it on track last week and on a handling circuit. And this is an EV that even you might like to drive.
Well, let's see. Maybe I can get my hands
It's
on
the best handling EV I've driven apart from maybe a Taycan, which I think...
It's good. Big praise.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't driven the Ioniq 5N yet.
Yep.
I believe that's very, very good.
Yep.
But it was very good. Limited slip differential, mechanical limited slip differential, front wheel drive, 280 horsepower. Brilliant.
Yep.
Really, really good. 42 grand.
Amazing.
Which actually, I know it's 42 grand, but that's quite good.
I'd still have, and I'm not just saying it that because I'm on the stand, I'd still take that new M1355 next door. Oh, no, it's not called an I anymore. I don't understand that.
Okay.
But it's called an M135. They're dropping the I for the combustion engine cars because I is strictly saved for electric now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
So
okay.
just to, I mean,
At least they haven't put a number on the back that nobody knows what it means. But
like Audi did. Yeah. And now they're getting rid of that because
Nobody knows what it means.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's an interesting time, an interesting space. But I think, the M5, it's an awesome car. Will I be getting one to replace the M3? No, because I think the M3 is already. I think it's a big car.
Yeah.
As we know, cars are getting bigger and bigger. That M5 is actually 7.5 centimeters wider on the front axle compared to the regular 5, which is already huge.
Yeah.
So I think as in terms of size of car, I think the 3 Series is a good size for the UK. The 5 is getting big for a sporty car. You have to take that to France or something to really enjoy it.
Talking about you've just spent some proper time in your car, finally.
Yes.
Your second touring,
Yes.
the one with the magic paint.
Yep. With the magic.
I saw Mr. Tony around here. Is he?
Tony, I think he's run off. He's probably made a few sales and then...
But yeah, you've done lots of miles the last few weeks.
I have 2,500 miles in the last, actually 3,000 if I include Wales just before, which is a lot of miles over like 10 days or something.
Do you think?
I've got a bit of a numb bum actually from sitting down for so long, but it was awesome. I really got to appreciate that car for what it is with my parents in there, the boot full of luggage, and it was just so impressive. So yeah, it was a great trip, really, really good. But it's great to come back to Goodwood and do this. But I think we should actually get
Look, before he falls
Alfie on. Yeah.
So for me, so Goodwood, it's all about cars, but I love watching the little kids and their amazement at all the cars. And we were talking to someone earlier on today, and I said, if you want to know about a car and its spec and its price, just ask one of the teenagers or one of the kids, because they'll probably know more than you do.
They will, and let's face it, they're the future. So
here he is. Is he ready?
You ready to come
look.
on? So Alfie is, so Alfie's mum, Laura, is one of my best friends that I've known for a long time. Comes from a very petrol head family that race cars, love cars everywhere, noises everywhere. It just, it's like a dream. And especially when I was a bit younger, before I was fortunate enough to do what I do today, I used to go around to her dad's garage and just literally stand there smelling the fumes and, taking it all in. And it's lovely to have. I haven't seen Alfie for years. He's 13 now. And I thought it would be great to get Alfie on as a guest just to talk about your sort of experience of Goodwood, what you love, what you want to drive when you get old enough to drive in a few years' time. So welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No worries.
And also, how do you win so many footballs? Because was it BYD stand you were winning them on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were giving away footballs on the BYD stand. Don't bother going anymore. Alfie's won them all.
He might sell you one.
Yeah. Doing keepy uppies.
Yeah.
How many did you do?
Like 100, I think.
What?
I think
100?
Yeah. So
Wow, I can do like one.
it was 50 for one ball, and then there was this nutmeg challenge, and I nutmegged some kid and got another one.
Wow. Well, you're heavily into your football, aren't you? I mean, I see on your mum's Instagram page especially, you're here, there and everywhere playing football, meeting some amazing stars. I mean, you've hung out with some proper legends in the football world.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. But bringing it back to cars, tell us about firstly, what are you interested in, like at Goodwood? What are you looking at on the BMW stand? Are you interested in the very latest stuff like this new M5 or the slightly older M5s around?
I like the older ones. I really like the shape of the car.
Yep. So the design,
Yeah.
they've got more character maybe, or?
Yeah, I think they're just cooler.
Cooler.
And why is that, do you think? Like, what's your favourite car?
And AC Cobras.
And why might that be?
My granddad's got one.
That's a really good answer.
That's a flex, isn't it?
Yeah.
And can you, at 13, I bet you can drive. On private land, of course.
So my granddad has a long drive, so when we come back from school, he lets me sit in the driver's seat and I drive up the drive.
In a manual car?
Yeah. and
What
sometimes-
in the Cobra?
No.
No? You're not driven that yet?
No,
What?
I've done we've got an Aston Martin, and and I've tried a McLaren before. As well.
What? A McLaren?
Yeah.
That, which one? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure, but it's nice and shiny.
It was before he drove up and down the driveway in the puddles.
Where'd you go from that? So dream car then?
Definitely an AC Cobra.
An AC Cobra.
The older ones.
Yeah. So are you like counting down the days till you're 17 and you can
Yeah.
learn to drive?
Yeah, hopefully I'll get one of Granddad's cars.
Oh, you have to speak nicely. Just keep washing them for him at the weekend, and just let him know that you like the AC Cobra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Mum driving at the moment? Because I know Mum's got great taste in cars, but she's had a few up and downs. I think at one point she had a B class or something. I don't know.
Oh, dear.
She didn't like to be seen in that too much, but I know she's had some really cool cars along the way. So what's Mum in at the moment?
Porsche Macan,
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
but it just had to go in that garage because it's very old and broken.
Oh no.
So we're driving Granddad's Range Rover at the moment.
Oh, that's a good substitute, that, isn't it? Hey, she'll have to come down. So I'm on Saturday. I'm driving the new Porsche Macan, the electric one.
Well, I don't like electric cars.
Oh, did you bring him on purpose?
No. See, this is why. I honestly, I had no idea.
Really?
And no, this is why it's obviously, you've been brought up in a fully petrol head family, so you're going to have a bit more of a biased sort of outlook on them. But it is interesting because, I think some kids are going to grow up in this digital sort of, oh my God, I need an electric car, and all I care about is the iDrive 9 in front of me and all that. But then others are going to be like, no, I want my engine, I want the noise, I want
the smell of petrol.
I want it to
fumes.
smell of petrol fumes. Yeah.
And how about your mates at school? Do they all like petrol cars, or do they like electric ones?
Most of my friends are more into football, not really cars, but
no.
most people I talk to are definitely more into petrol cars.
Really, that's interesting. Because I had a friend of the family came on it. It was a range test in an EV, but he was saying, so he's like at the time sort of 15, 16, and a lot of his friends were all really keen on EVs, and they were looking at their first car being electric.
Yep.
What's wrong with them? I hear you cry.
What, me?
So you got an AC Cobra. It's going to be by the time you're like, you're going to have to be running on sustainable fuel probably.
Yep. Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that would be what everyone will be running in the Revival and stuff, because he drives it at the Revival, doesn't he? He races it.
Well, we have Murray Shepherd drives our car. Came fourth this year.
Wow. I tried. So I went to the Le Mans Classic with your granddad back in 2007 or something. And what I discovered very quickly with that AC Cobra, because I forget which one it is, but it's a closed roof. It's a very
The Daytona Coupe.
Yes, yeah. I just can't fit. I could.
There's a surprise.
His mechanics were pushing it from one bit to the next, and they were like, "Joe, jump in and you can steer it." And I was like, I can't even get in. And even the passenger seat, I think I had to have my legs out. Yeah, so you can't grow too much more.
It's like trying to get an Action Man in a 1/18th scale model.
Exactly that. Yeah,
It's not happening.
it's not.
So you're looking forward to seeing anything particularly going up the hill? Do you like the racing cars, like
Yeah,
Formula
I
One
do.
and stuff?
I do like the old Formula One cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they sound cool, don't they?
Yeah.
And do you like Le Mans cars as well?
Yeah.
Cool. He's a cool kid, man.
Yep,
Yeah.
very cool. And he can play football a lot better than both of us.
So what? Can you kind of just take over from Joe on the podcast?
Yeah, that'd be good. Get some youth on here to make up for.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't.
Who do you think? All right, this is the final question, and don't don't feel that, you're not put on the spot here. Who's younger, me or Ped?
Joe.
Yes!
Oh, damn. By much?
3,
3 years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So how old do you think he is then?
49.
He thinks he's 49.
Almost there.
So it is 3 years because I'm 52. But yeah,
Almost right.
mate. Well, what a lovely young man you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something off camera.
We need to get you in a car, doing something on. Like, you could take him around. Has he been in your M2?
No, I don't know.
Can you change gear in a manual car?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Good. That makes a change because Joe can't. Third, fourth,
Yep,
fifth.
that's it.
That's fifth,
Yep.
not third.
No, fifth is actually up, Ped. It's never down. Yeah, it's up.
No.
Well, it is down in a dog leg.
No, I was thinking, is he not
Yeah.
got a dog leg?
No, it's not that old. No.
Anyway,
Thanks for your time, mate.
What a
Really,
legend.
really good to see you as well. Please send my love to your grandpa and your grandma and your mum, of course, wherever she is out there.
she's around.
Yeah, so there she is. We'll hopefully come and see you at some point soon. But thanks for your time and thanks for coming on.
Thank you
Go
for
and win
having
some
me.
more footballs.
Yeah. We need some footballs because before you go, there's a football match coming up. Apparently, a really important one
On Sunday.
the weekend. Who's going to win?
England. Yeah.
Oh, what's the score?
3-2.
Oh,
Okay.
that'd be good if it's
Yeah.
quite a high score
Yeah,
game.
good. As long as they don't wait till the 90th minute.
Yeah.
Favorite footballer?
You might not know, but Emil Smith Rowe.
Oh no, I don't know. What? Favorite team?
Arsenal.
It's a thumbs up and it's a booze. Brilliant.
Right. Well, come back when you support Liverpool. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
No worries.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Alf.
Legend.
Cheers.
Thank
Good
you,
to
mate.
see you, mate. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Yes.
What a legend.
What absolute legend.
Yeah.
Right. So, a couple of things. So, we've had a bit of a wander around this morning, and we headed over to the Zenvo stand,
Yes.
and we had a really cool chat with the chairman of Zenvo,
What's his name, Ped?
Jens 7up.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it was very difficult to say, but he just said, everyone calls me 7up. I went,
Yep.
that'll do.
Yes.
So we can't, unfortunately, for the live audience, cut to that, but we'll now cut to that and we'll see what Jens says about Zenvo. Now, the guys, we are joined by Jens Zebrup.
Great.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Who's the chairman of Zenvo Automotive. Jens, first off, congratulations on the stand.
Thank you.
It looks fantastic, but also the cars behind us. We wanted to spend a little bit of time just talking about where Zenvo is at the moment, but where it's come from.
Yeah.
Because I think the first time I saw one of your cars was probably about 2017, 18 at a VMAX 200 event.
Right.
Shaking down
Quite
a grunting
a lot has
call a
happened.
long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a lot has happened since that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've grown a lot as a brand, and obviously we have 2 all-new cars.
Yeah.
From white shadow papers, so
Yeah.
starting from scratch. So it's a massive step up since now.
Yeah. So what's the car behind us? Give us the headline figures. We're very pleased to see that it's on Michelin tyres.
Yeah.
As the podcast is sponsored by Michelin, you're a bit of a fan.
I am actually. I think they'll be happy to hear it. Yeah. So, through my whole career, I've always worked with Michelin. On every car project I've been involved in, always used Michelin. They are, they're not paying me for this, but they should. But
Well, we know the right guys to talk to.
yeah, tell Pete.
Yeah.
They're fantastic because they're innovative. They have fantastic test facilities, and they actually give us just as much attention as they do a big OEM, which is very rare. And of course, as I told you earlier, I think I have my motorcycles are on Michelins, my mountain bikes are on Michelins, even my road cycles are on Michelins, and even my van.
Amazing. You are.
They're number 1 fan. Right?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it's just a fantastic company.
Yeah. So headline figures of the car behind us, because it looks stunning. It's got so much beautiful carbon work and so much engineering detail.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's funny you ask about headline figures. When we launched the cars have such good numbers that they actually didn't want to publish the numbers.
Really?
Because I don't want it to be a numbers car. You know,
That's so cool.
it's a balance of performance car, but everything is as good as it can be. Like, Having said that, the numbers are impressive. But it's the side effect of doing everything right.
Yeah.
We're not compromising. But okay, having said that, I can dig into it. So it's super lightweight for a fully homologated car. It's 1,300 kilos.
1,300 kilos.
It's ultra lightweight.
Wow.
It's a rear-wheel drive, hybrid, 6.6 V12 quad turbo, and a hybrid motor, which is included in the gearbox. Both the engine and gearbox is ours.
Yeah.
The engine is done in collaboration with Model Powertrains here in the UK. Actually.
Yeah.
So combined power output on this is 1,550 horsepower.
But we don't talk about numbers.
So more,
We're not
so
gonna
more
base-
than 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
So obviously you have very, very brisk performance, but it's still, the focus has always been to have a good balance.
Yeah.
So it's drivable, tractable. The engine is sort of under stress, I guess you could say, you know, but it's all to have the best possible power delivery and performance you can use. You want the car, you can exploit the limits and without it being too intimidating. You know, you don't want a car that wants to cut your head off. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're a little bit hesitant with the numbers.
Yeah.
Sure, we could be even more, but it does make the car better.
Yeah.
So
Because I guess for other people, so we're good friends with Tim Burton, Shmee,
Right.
and he's obviously done so much work with you with his previous
He
car.
put your brand, well, for me anyway, really on the map.
I think for
And I learned a lot about, I loved all his sort of pre-ordering videos where he came to the factory.
Yeah.
I found all that really fascinating, and it was just amazing to sort of get behind the scenes and see you could see the passion and the level to what these cars are made.
Our customization possibilities is literally endless, right?
Yes.
And he sort of scraped the surface of that with his car.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, he's been a great. He's not an official ambassador, but he is a fantastic ambassador.
Yeah.
And of course, a great friend of us now, and he knows everyone in the company, and we're super happy to have a.
And he actually uses this car.
That's
the good
the
thing
best,
about
right,
Tim,
yeah.
because he gets a lot of stick. Like I said, we've known Tim for a long time,
Right.
and people say, "Oh, you don't use that." But actually, he's always using one of his cars, and you know, if the Zenvo's out, it is out, and he's using it properly and putting serious miles on
Pretty
it.
decent mileage.
Yeah.
You know, he's had it for. I mean, he's traveling a lot too, right?
Yep.
So I don't know the mileage now, but it should be 10,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
He'll be on a spreadsheet.
It'll be on a spreadsheet. Up here as well.
Yeah, okay, exactly.
I think he's got a lot of miles on his but long journeys, you know, some track driving.
Yeah.
Sure, you know, he's using it, that's the dream customer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless something goes wrong, then it's not so good. But
And how many are you producing a year at the moment? What's your sort of build?
Well, now
Turnover.
of the TS series, which is what Tim has,
Yes.
you know, our production volume is extremely low. You can maybe do 3 cars.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it's a very, very labor-intensive car to build, as you
Yep.
probably saw in the videos. Yeah. With these ones, which is all new platforms,
Yep.
you know, everything from the ground up, it is also a little bit more efficient to build. So we're looking at getting eventually up to 20.
Okay.
Just-
Have you ordered yours, Pedro?
Well, we're going to have a chat. I was wondering if you got any press cars available, because you know we'd like to have a drive maybe one day. You know,
Yeah, we will have,
get behind the wheel.
No,
But
we will have. We're making 7 prototypes, and I guess the last 2 of them will sort of be demo.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
So that will happen.
And then final thoughts on Festival of Speed.
The best car event in the world, isn't it?
It's cool.
Cool. And your positioning here is pretty special. 'cause Joe said-
We're lazy, so we want to go to the paddock.
Yeah. But it's very rare. Joe was like, "Oh no, we're down in the supercar paddock." So we're walking through the supercar.
Yeah.
Well, is it maybe just in? And then we're like, "Oh, okay. Yeah. You're not going to miss this."
Yeah,
So
we're
it's
gonna keep this spot for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, cars look best when they move.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Pretty car becomes super pretty when it.
Yeah.
So especially cars, especially something.
So
like a Zenvo.
just to see and hear cars going up the road.
Yep.
And I've been coming here for 15 years, 20 years, for a long time, and there's this respect where you see all these cars. There's no guardrails in front of them.
Yep.
That's unique for his.
Yep.
Couldn't do that with any other cars.
I think it's access to the cars, and you could be walking past Jensen Button, or
Yeah.
you could literally be brushing shoulders, and you know, and there's no like F1 races. It's like the stars are there and the public are here. I think at the Festival of
That's a
Speed, it's
unique thing.
very unique, yeah.
I have to say this can I say, competence level. So people are really knowledgeable, right?
Yeah.
So
It's full of fans, and actually, if you space normally the little kids, you start talking about the cars, they know more than we do. They know all the numbers and they know all, how much they are and where, how fast they'll go. I think it's fantastic.
I think if I was a kid, I'd definitely have the Zenvo on my wall.
Yeah,
because it's a beautiful car.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
It starts, isn't it?
Yeah.
The kids asking their dads very often, and sort of spreads from there. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well,
kids are more open-minded.
Oh well, exactly.
They're not so.
They're dreamers as well.
They're not so attached to brands yet.
Yeah.
So they just want the best car.
Yeah. They're what you want then. You want to attach them to Zenvo as a brand.
That's very often what happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a really busy man, and congratulations on the stand, and I hope you have a great festival as well.
Yeah.
Come here anytime if you want coffee.
Oh, we'll take you off on that. Definitely.
Yeah, we'll bring you some Michelin tyres. I tell you what,
Finally.
we'll come out with some tyres for your bikes and your cars.
20 years, so
Exactly. You've done your time.
free marketing.
Yeah.
Tell me it's you to go by.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.
Now, the good thing about that interview was Zenvos are all on Michelin tyres.
They are. Yeah. Actually, we haven't even mentioned Michelin.
No,
yet,
we haven't. No.
But that's a very good segue.
Yeah.
And he's, as you just seen, very obsessed with them. He's got them on everything. And off camera, he kept going on and on about them.
We're like, you can stop talking about Michelin now.
Yeah, we've got the cameras off. Yeah.
The mics are turned off. We went, no, I really like them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, someone out there's got my shoes on.
Which ones?
That lovely lady there, she's got some red speed cats on. Look, see, that I'm not the only one that wears those.
Oh. I bet she pulls them off better than you do.
It's got some black speed cats on.
I'm surprised you haven't had, because I wore some red shoes today.
I know, I did notice they are a bit special. Yeah.
They're a bit more low-key compared to yours.
So, shall we have a bit of a chat about what we're doing over the festival and what you're looking forward to?
Yes.
You were only here, so we're recording this obviously on Thursday. You're here tomorrow.
Yep.
What are you up to?
Today I've been in fact, last night I joined BMW down in a wonderful hotel in Southampton.
Yes. That's nice and close.
Yes, it's quite a distance coming today, but it's like a new, I don't know what it's called, Southampton Harbour Hotel or something.
Yeah.
It looks like a ship. That was wonderful, really nice, catching up with a lot of people from BMW, including the BMW M CEO, Frank Van Meel, and he's always a good laugh. We need to get him on the pod one day, even if it means going out to Munich.
We could do that.
Yeah, it'd be really good. He's awesome. And then I've spent much of the day here and watching the unveil of the M5. Like I said earlier, so busy here this morning. It was just ridiculous. Oh, in fact, the new X3 as well. So they were both unveiled at the same time.
I've been coming to Goodwood since 2009. I think was my first one. This is the busiest Thursday I've ever seen.
For sure. Yeah, I think. Well, we know it's sold out, but I think also after what happened last year with the weather, I think everyone's made sure they're like, oh, it looks good. Let's make sure we go today.
Yeah.
And then, tonight I'm staying with Porsche locally, and then I'm sort of a guest of theirs tomorrow. And then I'm going home to see Lou and Peggy this weekend.
Because you haven't seen them
I haven't seen them for 2 weeks. And I tell you what, as much as I love Goodwood, I love doing all this stuff. I also can't wait to get home and just have a nice chilled weekend with them. But I know you're sort of flat out for the next few days here.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you just take every opportunity, right? So coming here as a punter for so long and then doing what we do now, like to get the opportunity to experience the hill. So tomorrow morning, I think the thing I'm looking forward to most, I'm going in a Toyota WRC Rally 1 car around the rally stage with a factory driver.
Wow.
That's going to be cool.
That is going to be
That's a bucket list. I've always wanted to do that. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't rain very much because the rally stage, I've been around it once. Twice actually. Once in a 6R4 Metro, which was pretty cool. But it was wet and it's like glass. It's a chalk base, so it's very, very slippy.
Okay. So
but that'd be quite cool.
Yeah.
Driving Maserati MC20 tomorrow.
Yep.
And then, what day is then? Saturday, driving the new Macan electric.
Yep.
Porsche Macan, which we went down to see actually.
Yeah.
And I've not seen one in the metal before, and it looks really good.
It does look good. I think a lot of manufacturers are, because I know when EVs started sort of coming out onto the market, and I remember speaking to a few designers and them going, oh, it's great with EV because we don't have to worry about the radiators and where the engine is, and we've got much more to play with in terms of design. And then some of the early EVs came out, and it was like, really? They look very primitive, but
They just put the motor where the engine was,
Yeah.
batteries where the fuel tank was, and haven't really done.
haven't really done much. But now we're starting to see some really cool designs. That's definitely
It does look cool. But while we were there, while we were stood by McCann, we bumped into an old mate.
We did a very good old mate.
Rory Reid.
Yep.
So we'll head over and just see. We got a couple of words with him.
Yep.
He was looking very dapper, though, wasn't he?
He always looks dapper. Yeah, he always. In fact, I always look so casual. And he always looks so dapper. So yeah, let's cut to that little chat, and then you can join us back here, and we can wrap up.
Wrap up. Getting that way. Look.
Come on,
Hello everyone and welcome back to the podcast. What's the podcast called again?
Drive Talk podcast.
What do you mean you don't tune in every? Oh,
You know when
Rory.
you watch something so much that you forget what it's called.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I like that. digging out the hole.
Like, we need to up our style game.
Absolutely.
I mean, this guy's.
But Rory always looks dapper.
He needs to clean his sunglasses, though. It's great.
Sorry. I'll sort that out.
Lose a few points there. Great to see you, Rory.
Good to see you again.
Again.
I saw you this morning.
Yes. And last night.
and
that
last
sounds
night.
a bit suspicious.
We're together. Not together.
Not like that together.
We came
No, that's even worse.
Stop.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Anyway, mate.
You know they're digging. Yeah, great to see you, Joe.
So,
And you, Pete.
thank you, mate. What's your plans for the weekend? You got?
Not being at Goodwood, mostly, on my plans.
Oh, really?
So I'm just here for one day, having a look around, seeing some people, getting some inspiration for content, looking at stuff that I'm, desperate to drive, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Making sure that, we get the right videos on the Also Trader YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if I'm sure all of you know who Rory is and you watch his content, and without blowing smoke up your arse, your content is, and we talk about it off camera all the time. I know we've been on lots of trips together, and I love what you do with your content. I love it. It's always got a storyline. It's always amusing, but you learn stuff, and it's really good content.
Very kind.
It's
very
not
kind.
just get in the car and review it. So
No, I do watch Joe's stuff as well, and it's really good. I was watching one of your videos recently. It was the a Shelby AC Code
Oh, yeah.
from
Le Mans Coupes.
Le Mans Coupes. Yes, yeah. I was literally watching that yesterday.
Oh, well,
so-
that's an old one. I've seen that. YouTube algorithm
that's where that one
feeds
came
out some content. Hope you enjoyed it. Excellent.
And the ad revenue.
That car is now Auto Vivendi.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So what's your standout car then? I mean, we're stood in front of the new Porsche Macan Turbo.
Yeah, it's all right, that one. The one that I've looked at and thought, oh my God, that's mental, actually is the Genesis Magma concept.
Okay.
It's like a hot hatch. It's electric. It's a hot hatch, but it looks wild. It's got like the alloys that stick out. It's almost like racing alloys. They stick out by an inch or so. It looks mental. It's in this radical orange color.
I saw a load of orange Genesis going down the hill earlier on.
Oh, you've got to find
They're
that.
styling, aren't they? They're quite radical. And
They look mental, and there's a saloon as well. I think it's the GV80 Magma.
Yep.
Which has looked mental. So that's good. The Yang Wang U7 as
Is that the
well.
one that does the tank turn?
No, that's the SUV one. The Yang Wang U7, I think, is the sports car.
Okay.
So it's just over there. It's got a massive wang on the back.
Massive wang on the Yang Wang.
Which is like,
and there we go.
And then,
I love Rory.
and then title sponsor MG. Thoughts on the Cyberster?
Cyberster looks great. I was literally looking at it down there a second ago. It looks really
Have you
good.
driven it yet?
No, we got one arriving hopefully within a couple of weeks.
Cool.
Looks good. It looks a bit F-type, don't you think?
Yes, very.
Jag F-type,
Yeah,
yeah.
F-Type with basically Lambo doors.
Yeah. It looks cool.
Which is a bit weird.
And they've got another one which is convertible. The concept car. Literally next to it. It looks really cool. It's
Right.
another MG. I don't think it's a Cyberster. I think it's something else.
Yeah. Cool.
Looks good.
And one car for the rest of your life, Rory. I know you're a family man, so let's ignore the practicalities of that. You still have something that's practical.
All right.
So it's actually two cars. So yeah. But you're one dream car, like.
Oh man, for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and you can't. It's not like you can have a McLaren F1 and sell it tomorrow and make millions. You have to. You have to keep it.
Aventador SVJ.
Oh.
Yeah.
What colour?
Green or orange.
Okay, so subtle. Then.
Roadster as
Roadster.
well.
Nice.
Yeah. Totally useless. No practicality.
Loud, thirsty,
Expensive.
yeah, unreliable.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Worst gearbox in the world.
Yeah.
Why am I picking that car?
It goes with the Miami Vice suit.
Yeah.
You've got a massive You got a massive.
Oh my God. He wanted to be on the podcast as well.
That's brilliant. I know about the Aventador SVJ Roadster as a kind of one sports car for the rest of my life. It's just mental. Gear shifts.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, great chat, man.
Nice. Mate, we're not going to take up any more of your time.
Good.
But we are going to get him on the podcast as a
Yes.
proper guest.
Yeah,
I hit you up again for that this morning.
Yeah.
And I got out of bed next year.
Yeah.
And you said yes. So
Okay.
Hey.
would love to get you on, mate.
Cool.
Yeah, big fan of you. On and off the camera, you're such a nice bloke,
mate.
And thanks for your time as always.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Good luck.
Cheers.
Bye.
So yes, so I'm looking forward to driving Macan E. I've spoke to, because they haven't got any press cars at the moment. I didn't go on the launch, but by all accounts, it's quite a handful. It's quite quick.
Isn't it like 800
I
horsepower?
don't know whether it's that much. It's a lot though for a Macan.
Yeah,
But it does look good though.
it does. Well, I mean, anyone know how much power that's got?
We've got any
Anyone?
shouts?
Oh,
We got a
Jack's close.
720. We've got a 720.
Any others? Come on. Anyone out there doing their homework?
Who stood next to the plaque that's in front of it?
727.
And how many Newton meters?
1,030, I think, off memory. Yeah, which is just, I mean, literally, yeah, you could drive this stand with that much torque.
That is absolutely insane.
While we're talking about that, has anyone actually got any questions?
Oh, yeah.
We can't sort of mic you up, but we can repeat the questions and hopefully answer them. Am I Patrick's father? Well, as much as we joke about it, I'm thankfully not Patrick's father.
Unfortunately, the really scary thing is I'm old enough that I could be Patrick's father, which is really, really frightening. No, I'm as far as I'm aware, I don't have any offspring.
Yeah. Any other BMW questions, maybe?
No. Look, I see everyone's too interested in the cars. Look. So yeah, no.
Well. Oh. Yeah. So I'll repeat that because it's to you.
It's
Ped.
a very good question.
Yep. Of course. Would a BMW car be parked in your new garage
Well, kind of.
when I come visit?
Yeah. When Joe comes to visit, kind of, because I've got a BMW Mini. So
yes.
that's a bit of a tenuous link.
Yep.
No plans at the moment. The garage is coming along very well, by the way. I had a few challenges this morning. That's why I was late on site. By the end of this week, the roof's going to be on, which is very exciting.
That's handy. That's handy in the UK
I'm going to
summer.
start doing garage review videos, though, because they're doing better in terms of numbers than my car stuff is at the moment. So everyone loves building the garage.
Yep.
Although they're just as vicious. You know when you like wash a car on the internet and everyone wants to tell you how to do it?
Yep.
So I'm building a garage, and the amount of comments, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's like, I'm you know.
It's the internet, though, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
you
what I
can't
said.
put that steel on top of some wood. Well, I've got an architect, a structural engineer, a buildings inspector, and a builder that all say you can.
Yes.
I go with them for, not you. And then I said to the guy, I said, are you a builder? He went, well, I'm a building services engineer. I said, that's not really the same, is it? Mate,
No.
To be honest.
No.
Who's just turned up.
Hey, Rick the Spard. Rick must have a question. Come on, Rick.
What time do you finish when I get a point?
That is the best question ever. What time do you finish? Can we go and get a pint? Well, actually, we're probably not far off of about an hour long time. We don't want to be boring these people anymore, do we?
No, we don't. I think a lot of people want to head off and get a pint or similar non-alcoholic drinks.
Who wants to go to the pub? Beers are on Joe.
Yay. Have we got any other questions?
Oh, here we go. A question for Joe from Patrick. Is Joe's M2 a forever car? And if not, what would you replace it with?
That's something I've been thinking about a lot since I got it fixed again earlier this year.
Oh, you got it fixed?
Yeah, and that sounds like it was breaking down. It's not because it's a BMW, it's because I misshifted it, for anyone that missed that.
Did anyone not hear about Joe misshifting? I don't know.
And it was a very lengthy process that, anyway, nearly a year later, it's back on the road thanks to Swift Performance. And so now I'm even closer to it because I missed it for so long and now it works. But the reality of it is it's been sitting in my garage. When did it get fixed? In like February, March this year? It's been sitting there, and I've driven it twice, once on track and once on the road for about half an hour. And as you know, insurance is expensive. It's costing a lot just to have it there, and I don't have that kind of cash to just have a car sitting in the garage. But it's also the one car that I do own, and so in a way, yeah, it's an investment for me just sitting there, if that makes sense. I want to use it more, and
I was going to say the solution is drive it more.
Yes, but as you know, how often...
What have you done to it, though, Joe? You've made it into a track car, haven't you?
I've turned it into a bit of a harsh track car. And like yourself, I'm away a lot. And when I'm home, I'm in the M3 Touring or another press car that I've got, usually another BMW. I swear my neighbours sometimes think I'm some kind of a sort of backhanded BMW dealer. Another BMW on your drive. Thanks, Martin.
Well, Helen, the lovely Helen from Mini, she's walking away from us now. She's walking back now because she can hear me.
Yeah.
So thanks to lovely Helen. I'm running a Mini Countryman JCW at the moment. I don't think you're going to get it back.
She won't notice if it doesn't come
not
back.
Getting it back. So that might be the BMW that's parked in my garage by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's really nice. Well, you've got such an affiliation with Mini, and I know all your neighbours. I remember the first time I came round to your house, and it's like, that neighbour's got a Mini, that neighbour's got a Mini. And then they all came and we all sort of got chatting. Yeah. And they're all like, I got mine because of you, and I got mine because of Ped, and... It's like a mini community, like a little it was a slightly, almost cultish.
When we had lockdown, we did a mini car show during lockdown with just my neighbours, all socially distanced in our gardens. We had 10 minis.
That is amazing. My goodness.
It's cool.
Brilliant.
Anyway, I reckon we close this down.
Absolutely.
There's some thank yous to be said. Firstly, massive thanks to Michelin, our headline sponsor, as always, for the support that they give us. But a huge thank you to BMW for hosting us today. A very, very special venue.
Very cool.
We've wanted to do a live in inverted commas podcast with the whole speaker thing and stuff.
Yep.
Since we started, so to get one done, it's very cool.
Yeah, and it was very proactive of them to contact us and offer this space because it's not the sort of thing that tends to happen these days, and I think it's great. And so we really, really appreciate that. It's been lovely to come on. Thanks to our guests as well. It's been a really, really good day. And I'm looking forward to that beer, Rick.
Yeah, he's buying.
Yes, awesome. And thanks to everyone that's here, that's hung around, listened, and everyone that's come over and said hi today.
Thanks to the BMW production team as well.
Yes.
So the cameraman with a much bigger lens than
Patrick. Yeah. Showed Patrick up.
And all the audio. You can have your music on now, guys. You're finished.
Yes.
Hey, and also make sure you subscribe and do all the things you need to do to grow the podcast.
Absolutely.
Enjoy Festival Speed, my friend.
Yes, you too.
And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.